Now, contemplation of Dhammas. In the Vibhanga, there's only 5 hindrances and 7 awakening factors. In the Dhammaskanda, extra sense bases. In the Sariputta extra the 4 Noble Truths. Pali, Satipatthana, extra 5 aggregates. So it seems to be getting more and more. And then Nianchu Jing has got only 3, no aggregates, no Noble Truths. Ekayana has got 5 hindrances, 7 awakening factors, and 4 jhanas. Prajnaparamita doesn't have anything. So here again, the 5 hindrances seems to be the most popular, and the 7 awakening factors. Yeah, so although he did not include the 5 aggregates and the 6 sense bases in his Satipatthana Mula, one cannot deny that these 2 are central to the Buddha's teaching. And you can find so many suttas in the Khanda Samyutta and Salayatana Samyutta where the Buddha stresses that one should should contemplate them in terms of anicca, dukkha, anatta, again and again. So maybe it's the redactors or the compilers of the suttas, they decided to compile everything together, make it into a composite, get from here and there, and compile everything to make it into the Satipatthana Sutta that we have right now. Comparing the refrain, internal and external, tribulations, arising, vanishing, knowledge, independence, arahantship. In the Vibhanga, there's only internal and external. In the Dhammaskanda, only internal, external, and tribulations. Sariputta Dharma, it's got almost everything except arahantship. Pali Satipatthana has got everything except tribulations and arahantship. And the Nianchu Jing has got only 2, internal, external, and knowledge. So no vipassana. Vipassana only occurs for Sariputta Abhidharma and the Pali Satipatthana. Yeah, also for Ekayana. Interestingly, that's the Mahayana. And Ekayana has got many elements there. It's got knowledge, it's got independence, and surprisingly also arahantship, because they belong to the Mahasangika. One would think that they wouldn't include arahantship there. Then Prajnaparamita has got internal, external, plus independence. Okay, so from here we can see that internal and external is common to everyone. And knowledge is not really common to everyone. It's only 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7, but he still put that in his Satipatthana Mula, and including independence. Now, just for the sake of, for you to know, tribulations, there's a lot of reflections going on. There's tribulations here. There's a lot of reflections going on in this tribulations, and the end of each anupassana, which means kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana, citta anupassana, and dhamma anupassana. Not at the end of each exercise, but at the end of each anupassana, this is the reflection that is done in these 2 traditions. He observes and contemplates all their many tribulations, namely this body is like this body, feeling, mind, Dhamma. It's like a sickness, like a boil, like a dart, troublesome, impermanent, suffering, empty, not self, changing, wearisome, a great entanglement. It is of a nature to be lost and to decay, rapidly and incessantly becoming weak, not enduring. It cannot be relied on or trusted. It is of a nature to change and decay. We have a somewhat similar sort of contemplation that was encouraged by the Buddha to be found in the Anguttara Nikaya. Actually, in several places. What I can remember is one called Jhanas Sutta. In this Jhanas Sutta, the Buddha said that dependent on the first jhana, I say, can there be the destruction of the cankers. Then he went on to include all the other attainments, dependent on the second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, dependent on the first ayatana, second ayatana, third ayatana, fourth ayatana, dependent on the fifth ayatana. You know what's the fifth ayatana? Nirodha Samapatti. I say there is the destruction of the cankerous. And then he went on to describe, now how is it, monks? What do I mean when I say, depending on the first jhana, there can be the destruction of the cankerous? Well, the Buddha says, first a monk develops the jhanas, attains the jhana, the first jhana, and then he contemplates whatever that is included in the 5 aggregates, in a jhana, in terms of, it's like a dart, it's like a ball, it's like all these things are some of these words there. And then in the end, it talks about being impermanent, changing all the time, it's suffering, it's empty, it's void, there's no self. And then after reflecting, looking or viewing or contemplating the 5, anything that is included in the 5 aggregates in the jhana, then he inclines his mind towards the deathless, to nibbana. In comparison to all these things about the 5 khandhas, he says this is sublime, this is peaceful. That is the stilling of all formations, right? The relinquishment of all assets, the destruction of tanha, of craving, cessation, nibbana. After he inclined his mind towards that, then the Buddha says he could achieve arahantship, or if there is some sort of clinging to the Dhamma, then he can become an anagami. Alright? So he goes on to talk about the rest of the jhanas, 2nd jhana, 3rd jhana, 4th jhana in the same way, 1st ayatana, 2nd ayatana, 3rd ayatana in the same way. Then when it comes to the 4th and 5th ayatana, he stopped. He didn't describe what to do. But in the 1st ayatana to the 3rd ayatana, instead of asking the monk to contemplate on the 5 aggregates, whatever that is included in the 5 aggregates, he asked him to contemplate whatever that is included in the 4 aggregates. Why? Because it's gone to the arupa state. There's no form anymore. It's gone beyond form. Whereas the jhanas are still within the world of form. There's still the world of form there. So anything that is associated with form, with rupa, with matter, they can still perceive and contemplate in the first 4 jhanas. In the first 3 ayatanas, not possible, because they've gone beyond form. In the 4th ayatana and the 5th ayatana, perception is questionable. Neva sanya na sanya, neither perception nor perception, ya bong bong. How to contemplate? Cannot. And then the 5th ayatana, no perception at all. It's a succession of feeling and perception. So, cannot do. And yet, the Buddha says that they can still, depending on these 2, there can still be the destruction of the cankerous. That means the attainment of arahantship. And so what he said is, I say that those monks who are skilled in attaining and emerging from these 2 attainments, they will properly describe how it works. They will properly describe how it works. He did not describe. Which means to say they cannot do any contemplation, but somehow they also get the awakening. They get the final goal. All right. So just to show you that, these tribulations, part of these tribulations can also be found in the Anguttara Nikaya for people, for yogis who have entered the jhanas, who have attained the jhanas and the ayatanas. This is translation by Bhikkhu Sujato. Okay, so let's look at its structure of the Satipatthana Mula. It starts with his proclamation and definition. And his definition is repeated contemplation of body as body, feelings as feelings, mind as mind, Dhammas as Dhammas. Internally, externally, both internally and externally, while being ardent, clearly knowing, being mindful, having subdued longing and dejection in regard to the world. Right? Part of the refrain in the Pali Satipatthana is now in the definition of the Mula. Then the Kaya Nupassana has only got 1 exercise, And it goes to his refrain, which is also different. Is mindful for the sake of knowledge and vision that there is or are a body, feelings, mind, Dhammas. Is independent and does not cling to anything in the world. So this also implies that he can get arahantship, although there's no vipassana refrain. So this also is a problem. Yeah. So his contemplation of the Dhammas is also very, very short, only 2 exercises instead of 5. And then it goes to conclusion. So in his concluding remarks, Ajahn Sujato has this opinion that actually his understanding of ekayana is the path of convergence. And the path of convergence to him means converging the mind into absorption. Now, his idea of jhana is still a Visuddhimagga sort of jhana, absorption. And he says that actually Satipatthana is a preliminary for right samadhi. If you look at the linear development of the Noble Eightfold Path, what precedes right samadhi? Right mindfulness, isn't it? So you must do the Satipatthana in order to get the right samadhi. If you do not do Satipatthana, if for example you just follow the Visuddhimagga method of doing the kasina, right? The kasinas are totally independent of the Satipatthana. You just have to sit down there, imagine or look at a disc and then try to close your eyes and keep on imagining and maintaining that image and then get absorbed into it. Is that right samadhi or not? It cannot be right samadhi because it's not an outcome of right mindfulness, Satipatthana. So that's why if you read the article that I just circulated, you will see that Ajahn Thanissaro has done some critical analysis of the jhanas that are found in the suttas and the jhana that is understood by Visuddhimagga. Anyway, coming back to Ajahn Sujato's conclusion, he feels that actually the first 3 Satipatthanas are samatha. His idea of samatha is very much like Visuddhimagga, It's a path of conversion, you will get the jhanas, and vipassana occurs only in Dhammanupassana. Because in Dhammanupassana, the specific instructions are given in the main text to look at the causes and conditions of how things arise and pass away. Right? Now I differ a bit from Ajahn Sujato. My conclusions are that samatha need not necessarily mean the Visuddhimagga type of samatha. It is independent of the object. The object could be conceptual, or it could be ultimate reality, experiential reality, as long as you are able to still your mind. And I feel that the first 3 Satipatthanas, if you do not go beyond the exercises, initial exercises, it is still samatha. You only start to do vipassana when you investigate into their nature of arising and passing away. If you just do all the 4 Satipatthanas, the beginning part of all the 4 Satipatthanas is just samatha. And then when your mind is calm, then you start to investigate into the nature of arising and passing away, the causes and conditions, then only you go on to vipassana. Right? Even the first part of Dhammanupassana is just a matter of identification. You're identifying the hindrances, you're identifying the 5 aggregates, you're identifying the 7 factors of enlightenment and so forth. Okay, so we have reached the end of our workshop. Any questions before I summarize what we have done so far?